Welcome back to the Journeyman Podcast. I'm so glad you're joining us for episode 5. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's not always talked about that openly, menopause. But before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes. Now, to help us unpack this topic, we've got some great insights from Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She's a leading expert in menopause and women's hormone health, and she was recently featured on the Mel Robbins podcast.
Yeah, she really challenges how people think about menopause. It's often seen as this ending point. But Dr. Haver really sees it as the beginning of the last third of a woman's life. And it can be an amazing chapter.
Okay, so like a new beginning. I like that. But what makes her think that? What's the evidence behind this positive outlook?
She really dives deep into the science of, all the hormonal changes, but especially the role of estrogen. And she makes a good point. Understanding those shifts is key to optimizing health during this transition.
Right, estrogen. It's something we hear about a lot, but I'll be honest, I don't really give its full impact. Beyond, reproduction.
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Haver points out that estrogen receptors are found in every single organ system in a woman's body.
Wait, everywhere?
Yeah,
Seriously?
everywhere from your heart bones, your brain, even your skin. It plays a role in so many things like heart health, bone density, brain function, skin elasticity. So when estrogen levels decline during menopause, you can feel the effects all over.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing. So we're not just talking about hot flashes then, right? We're talking about like a domino effect on a woman's entire well-being.
Exactly. And that's why Dr. Haber challenges this common misconception that, menopause is just something you have to grit your teeth and get through. She believes that women can thrive during this phase, but you have to understand the hormonal changes and then take steps to manage them.
So it's not about accepting these changes passively, but actively managing them. Okay, like that. But let's back up a bit. When do these changes actually begin? Isn't it around the age of 50 or so?
Well, that's another thing Dr. Haver debunks. She highlights that the female endocrine system, especially the ovaries, they actually age faster than the rest of the body, twice the rate. And get this, by the time a woman hits 30, she's already lost 90% of the eggs she was born with.
90%, that's a lot. So these changes are starting much earlier than most people think.
Oh, absolutely. Perimenopause, that's the transitional period leading up to menopause. That can start as early as a woman's mid-30s.
Mid-30s, wow, that's a lot earlier than I thought.
Yeah, and it lasts for 7 to 10 years. And it's marked by these fluctuating hormone levels. It's like this zone of chaos. Think about it. You're in the prime of your life, building your career, raising a family, and suddenly your body starts sending you all these mixed signals.
No wonder so many women feel like they're losing their minds.
Right. They experience all sorts of symptoms: fatigue, weight gain problems, sleeping, mood swings, brain fog, you name it. And here's the problem a lot of times. These symptoms are misdiagnosed, or sometimes even dismissed by healthcare providers.
Dismissed? You mean doctors aren't taking these concerns seriously?
Well, Dr. Haver actually shares this story from when she was in medical training. She remembers during her residency, women coming in with these vague complaints. They'd be labeled as whiny women.
Whiny women.
I know. Instead of trying to figure out, what hormonal shifts might be causing these symptoms, they were just put aside and referred to different specialists.
So they're being sent from cardiologist to neurologist to gastroenterologist, and no one's connecting the dots.
Exactly. It's a huge missed opportunity. To address the root cause, Dr. Haver says she used to do this too before she really understood the impact of estrogen decline.
That's a great point. It shows how important education and awareness are, not just for women, but for the healthcare providers too.
Absolutely. I think that lack of awareness is a big reason why menopause is still so misunderstood.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about estrogen a bit more. You mentioned its impact all over the body, but can you give us some specifics? Like, how does declining estrogen actually affect a woman's body?
Well, one of the key things Dr. Haver talks about is inflammation. Think of it like your body's alarm system. When you get injured or sick, inflammation is a healthy response. It helps your body heal. But when that inflammation becomes chronic, it's like the alarm won't shut off. And that can cause a lot of problems.
Chronic inflammation, we hear that term a lot these days. What's the connection to estrogen?
Estrogen is actually anti-inflammatory. It helps keep that alarm system in check. But when estrogen levels drop during menopause, you lose some of that protection.
So does that mean women become more susceptible to inflammatory conditions as they go through menopause?
That's what the research is showing. And remember, chronic inflammation is linked to a whole bunch of chronic diseases: heart disease, diabetes, even some types of cancer.
Okay, now it's starting to make sense. We're not just talking about hot flashes and mood swings here. It could actually increase the risk of some serious health problems.
Exactly. It's like this ripple effect throughout the whole body.
And it seems like there's not enough awareness about this.
That's right.
So for everyone listening, I want you to really think about this. Estrogen is not just about reproduction. It's essential for a woman's overall health and well-being. And when those levels decline, it can have a major impact on your body.
Absolutely. It's something women of all ages should understand.
You know what's really surprised me is how early these changes can begin. I always thought menopause was something women dealt with in their 50s, but that's obviously not the whole story.
Nope. It's a process that unfolds over time, and being aware of those early signs is really important.
This has been fascinating, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about how to navigate these changes and optimize their health during this phase of life. We'll get into that right after a quick word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.
So we've talked about how important it is to really understand, the role of estrogen and the impact its decline has on a woman's body.
Yeah, it's like we need to totally rethink how we view menopause. Instead of seeing it as this, ending, we need to embrace it as a transition, a new chapter.
Exactly. And Dr. Haver offers what she calls a toolkit, a holistic approach to managing this transition. It's not just about medical intervention, although that can definitely be valuable. It's about lifestyle and dietary changes that can really make a big difference.
Okay, a toolkit. I like that. So what's in this toolkit? Where do we even start?
She really stresses the importance of gut health, and she suggests starting simple, like increasing your fiber intake.
Fiber. That seems pretty basic. How does that tie into menopause?
Well, remember when we talked about estrogen affecting so many systems, including the gut microbiome? Well, fiber nourishes the good bacteria in your gut. And that can have a ripple effect on everything, from digestion and nutrient absorption to immune function and even mental health.
So by keeping our gut healthy, we're supporting our overall well-being, which is especially important during menopause with all these hormonal changes going on.
Exactly. It's like building a strong foundation.
I like that.
And in addition to fiber, Dr. Haver also recommends another really powerful tool, magnesium.
Magnesium? Isn't that the stuff that's supposed to help you relax and sleep better?
It is, and those are definitely benefits, especially for women who are experiencing insomnia or anxiety during menopause. But magnesium actually does so much more than that. It's involved in over 300 biochemical processes in the body.
Wow, 300?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So tell me, how does magnesium specifically help women going through menopause?
Well, for one thing, it helps regulate blood sugar, which is important for preventing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, which both become more common as we age, and even more so during menopause. It's also crucial for muscle function and recovery, which might be why a lot of women experience muscle cramps and aches.
Okay, so those are some pretty significant benefits. But I have to be honest, I'm always a little skeptical about supplements. Is there actual scientific evidence backing up these claims about magnesium?
Oh yeah, there's actually a growing body of research supporting the benefits of magnesium for all sorts of health issues, including menopausal symptoms. Some studies have shown that magnesium supplements can help you sleep better, reduce anxiety, and even alleviate hot flashes.
Interesting. But there are tons of different magnesium supplements out there. Does it matter which one you take?
Dr. Haver specifically recommends magnesium L-threonate. She says it's absorbed better and more effective for sleep and anxiety. And she's even had patients who haven't found relief with traditional antidepressants, but have found it with magnesium L-threonate.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so we've got fiber for gut health, magnesium for sleep anxiety, overall well-being. What else is in this menopause toolkit?
She also talks about omega-3 fatty acids, the healthy fats found in fish oil.
Right, omega-3s. I know they're good for heart health, but how do they help with menopause?
Well, remember how we talked about chronic inflammation being a big issue during menopause? Omega-3s are powerful anti-inflammatories, like firefighters putting out those inflammatory fires throughout your body.
Ah, I see. So by reducing inflammation, we're basically protecting ourselves from those chronic diseases that can pop up after menopause.
Exactly.
Like building up our defenses.
That's a great way to put it.
So we've got gut health, inflammation, sleep, mood. Are there any specific lifestyle changes that she recommends?
She's a huge advocate for weight training.
Weight training. I always thought cardio was the way to go for women, especially as we get older.
That's a common misconception. Dr. Haver actually suggests shifting the focus away from cardio for thinness and embracing strength training for overall health and longevity.
Strength training, huh? I can get on board with that. But why is it so important for women during menopause?
Well, as we age, we naturally start to lose muscle mass, and this actually accelerates during menopause because of those hormonal shifts. Weight training helps counteract that loss by building and maintaining muscle, which is crucial for, strength, mobility, and staying independent as you get older.
So it's not about looking good. It's about being able to function and live your life to the fullest. It's about being strong enough to carry those groceries, play with your grandkids.
Travel the world.
Right.
It's about being able to do all the things that you love.
I love that, about empowering women to live their best lives at any age.
And don't forget the benefits for bone health. Weight training helps build bone density, which is super important for preventing osteoporosis and fractures, which are a major concern for women after menopause.
Yeah, it's like investing in your future health.
Exactly, and it's never too late to start.
Okay, so we've got fiber, magnesium, omega-3s, weight training. What else does Dr. Haver recommend for managing menopausal symptoms?
She really emphasizes the importance of sleep hygiene.
Sleep, something most of us struggle with anyway, menopause or not.
I hear ya, but it's especially crucial during this time because those hormonal fluctuations can really mess with your sleep patterns, leading to insomnia and night sweats.
So what can we do to improve our sleep, besides kicking our snoring partners out of bed?
Haha, well, she recommends all the usual stuff: minimizing screen time before bed, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, making sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet.
All those things we know we should be doing, but don't always do.
Yep, but even with good sleep hygiene, some women still experience those really intense hot flashes and night sweats. And for them, Dr. Haver believes that hormone replacement therapy can be a game changer.
Okay, HRT, that's a bit of a controversial topic, and I know a lot of women are hesitant to even consider it.
I totally get it. There's been a lot of fear and misinformation surrounding HRT, mostly due to that flawed study that came out years ago, and the media hype that followed.
You're talking about the Women's Health Initiative study.
Exactly. But it's really important to understand that study has been heavily criticized for its design flaws and how the results were interpreted.
So what's the real story about HRT? Is it safe? Is it effective?
Dr. Haver firmly believes that for the vast majority of women, HRT is safe and effective, especially when it's started early, within the first 10 years of menopause.
Wait, so timing matters.
It seems so. Research suggests that starting HRT early can actually reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke.
Hold on, I thought HRT was supposed to increase those risks.
Yeah, that was the initial thinking based on that flawed WHI study, but more recent research has shown a different story.
So we were given bad information.
In a way, yes. It's a good example of how scientific understanding can change over time. And unfortunately, that outdated information has led to a lot of unnecessary fear and confusion about HRT.
That's scary. So you're saying HRT might actually be good for women's heart health?
That's what the current evidence suggests, especially when it started early on in menopause. And here's something even more mind-blowing. While doctors are quick to prescribe statins, AC inhibitors, and aspirin to women for heart health, none of those have actually been proven effective for women, unlike HRT.
Wait, so we're giving women medications that haven't been proven effective while denying them a treatment that might actually protect their hearts? That doesn't make any sense.
I know it's crazy. Dr. Haver calls it a missed opportunity. We've been so focused on the potential risks of HRT, often based on outdated info, that we've completely overlooked the potential benefits.
That's a powerful statement, and it really speaks to how women's health is often viewed.
Exactly.
It's time for that to change.
I agree.
Menopause is a natural transition. It's not a disease, and women deserve access to safe and effective treatments that can help them thrive during this time.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm starting to realize that we need to approach menopause in a more personalized way. It's not one size fits all.
Exactly. What works for one woman might not work for another. It's about finding the right tools and strategies for each individual and working with a healthcare provider who really understands menopause.
And that could include HRT as an option, not something to be afraid of or dismiss right away.
Exactly. It's about having those honest conversations with your doctor, weighing the risks and benefits based on your own health history and what you're comfortable with.
Okay, so where does this leave us? We've explored the science behind menopause, debunked some common myths, and learned about Dr. Haver's toolkit for managing this transition. What are your final thoughts on all of this?
To me, it really comes down to empowering women with knowledge. The more we understand about what's happening in our bodies, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions about our health. Menopause doesn't have to be a time of suffering and decline. It can be a time of growth and transformation, and even vitality.
I love that. It's about taking back our power and embracing this next chapter with confidence.
Exactly. It's about rewriting the narrative around menopause and creating a more supportive and empowering environment for women.
This has been a really insightful conversation. I'm sure our listeners have tons of questions and want to learn more. But before we wrap up, let's take a minute to recap what we've learned and share some key takeaways with our listeners. Wow, we've really covered a lot, haven't we? From the science of it all to the misconceptions that still surround menopause.
It has been a lot, and I feel like I've definitely learned a lot. What really stuck with you?
You know, I think what's really stayed with me is how little I knew about how much estrogen actually does. I knew it was important. But to find out it has receptors in every organ system, That just blew me away.
I know, it really shows you how important hormone balance is for women.
And it makes sense why so many women experience such a wide variety of symptoms when estrogen levels decline. It's kind of sad how many women just suffer in silence. They feel like they're losing control, and then they're told it's just stress or all in their head.
It's true, and a lot of times it's really just their biology.
Exactly. It really shows the need for more education, not just for women, but for their doctors, too.
Yeah, we need to change how we talk about menopause, make it normal, and encourage women to stand up for themselves.
I agree. We've got to move past the silence and shame. Create a space where women can talk openly about this stuff.
Exactly. Menopause is a natural transition. It's normal. It's not a disease. It doesn't have to mean suffering.
That's such an important message. So what do you hope people take away from all this? What would you encourage them to do?
I hope they feel more informed, like they can take control of their health. Talk to your friends, your family, your doctor. Share what you've learned and help break the stigma.
Yeah, knowledge is power for sure. And I hope people check out some of the resources we mentioned, like Dr. Haver's book, The New Menopause. It's got so much great info and advice.
It's a great book. And remember, you're not alone in this. There are millions of women going through menopause, and there's so much support out there.
Exactly. And this is really just the beginning of the conversation. Keep learning, keep asking questions.
Yeah, and most importantly, talk to your doctor about your specific needs and concerns. There are options out there, lifestyle changes, hormone therapy, things that can really help you manage your symptoms.
The big takeaway is that menopause doesn't have to be something you dread. It can be a time of growth and change.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your health and living this next chapter with confidence.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into menopause. We hope you found it helpful. And before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Journeyman podcast for more deep dives on important topics.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, stay curious,